Is the whiteboard visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So let me revise first two cases and then I will go for third one. Case number 1. If m1, m2, m3 and so on up to m suffix n are real and distinct roots of auxiliary equation phi of d is equal to 0, then we have the solution y is equal to c1 e to the power m1x plus c2 e to the power second root, that is m2x, and so on up to last root c suffix n e to the power m suffix n x. Okay, so this is the first case. Now case number 2. Suppose some of the roots are repeated and all are real. Okay, so let's say m1 is equal to m2 and m3, m4 and so on up to m suffix n, all are real and two of them are repeated, and then in that case how do we write the solution? Then y is equal to c1 e to the power m1x, and here we have to do adjustment with that c2 times x e to the power m1x. Okay, and for the remaining roots you have to follow the case number 1. So c3 e to the power m3x plus c4 e to the power m4x and so on up to the last root c suffix n e to the power m suffix n x. So this is the way of writing the solution in case of case number 2. Now if we have complex roots, case number 3, let m is equal to alpha, m1 is equal to alpha plus I beta is a complex root of the given auxiliary equation. Then I'm telling you, by default you will get m2 as its complex conjugate. So alpha minus I beta is also a root of same equation. Okay, by default you will get. So because complex roots, they are always in the pair, they comes in a pair. Okay, so if you have alpha plus I beta, then its complex conjugate is also root alpha minus I beta. So what do you mean by complex conjugate? You just need to change this imaginary part by giving negative sign. Okay, so you can see here instead of plus we have here negative. Okay, so whenever you have a complex root, its complex conjugate is also root. So by default you will get this. Okay, and so suppose this is the case that m1 is equal to alpha plus I beta and m2 is equal to alpha minus I beta are the roots of the given auxiliary equation. So let us follow the same process. So before that, let me specify this alpha. It is called as the real part of that complex number, and this beta. So beta means coefficient of I. It is called as the imaginary part of that. It is imaginary part of that complex number. Okay. So in case of complex root, what is the solution? So y is equal to c1 e to the power, we can follow the first case and then accordingly we will simplify it. Okay, so m1, so m1x plus c2 e to the power m2x, but what is the value of m1 is nothing but the alpha plus I beta, substitute that value c1 e to the power alpha plus I beta, and c here x is there, and c2 times e to the power, what is the value of m2? It is alpha minus I beta, alpha minus I beta times x. Okay, now it is very very strange term we have here, e to the power alpha plus I beta. So can we solve it further to get the simplified form? And for that purpose I'm going to use two important things. One is, okay, so let me write here the thing that I'm going to use to solve it further. Do you know e to the power I theta is equal to cos theta plus I sin theta, and e to the power minus I theta is equal to cos theta minus I sin theta. So these two formulas I'm going to use to solve this thing further. Okay, So this is C1 e to the power alpha x into e to the power, I'm talking about first term, okay, e to the power alpha times this x into e to the power I beta times this x, I beta x. And now talking about C2, second term, C2 e to the power alpha times x into e to the power minus I beta times x, minus I beta x. Okay, now we can see we can take e to the power alpha x common, right? So this is e to the power alpha x in bracket c1 e to the power sorry, e to the power I beta x and c2 e to the power minus I beta x. And now here onward, we are going to use these two formulas. You can see here. For first term, we can apply this formula, and for second term, we can apply the second formula. So according to that, just you have to replace theta by beta x. Right? So therefore, according to these two formulas, we have answer of this question. It is C1 e to the power I beta x can be written as cos theta plus I sin theta. Na? So cos beta x plus I times sine beta x, right? So let me put here bracket. Oh, okay, so round bracket. And for second term, C2 times you can use second formula. So instead of if you have negative I, then you can see here negative I, right? So cos beta x minus I sine beta x. And now we can take cos beta x common and sin beta x common, right? So therefore it is e to the power alpha x outside, and now collect the terms, coefficients of cos beta x. So here we can say C1 and here we can say C2, C1 plus C2 times cos beta x. And now collect the terms, coefficients of sin beta x. So C1I, C1 times I, and now here C2 times minus I. So plus C2 minus I. Okay, and this is multiple term is what? Sin beta x. Now, can we replace this constant, very difficult constant we have here, C1I minus I C2. So we can replace it by another constant because they are just arbitrary constants. So it is e to the power alpha x in bracket a cos beta x, and here we have b sine beta x. So what we get? We get simplified form in case of complex roots. So therefore y is equal to e to the power alpha x in bracket a cos beta x plus b sine beta x. This is the way of writing the solution in case of complex roots. So let me summarize this case. If M1 is equal to alpha plus I beta is a complex root of a given auxiliary equation, then by default you will get M2 as alpha minus I beta. Then directly you have to write the solution in this way. Y is equal to, look at the real part of this root, alpha. So e to the power alpha x, and in bracket constant a times cos, look at this beta, imaginary part, coefficient of pi, beta x plus another constant b sine beta x. So this is the way of writing the solution. So let me give you one example and then we'll solve it. Okay, example, solve t square plus 2 times d plus 5 times y is equal to 0. Okay, so our process is very simple. We need to consider auxiliary equation. We need to find its roots, right? So consider auxiliary equation. It is d square plus 2 times d plus 5 is equal to 0, right? And now I'm going to use quadratic formula to solve this equation. Okay, so let me write quadratic formula here. So if you have quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then value of x is given by x is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2 times a, right? And now instead of x, here we have d term, right? So therefore d is equal to, according to this formula, identify values of a, b, c. Here we can see b is 2, c is 5, and a is coefficient of d square, it is 1. Okay, and so this substitute values, all the values in this formula. So minus 2 plus minus square root of b square. So what is b square? B square means 2 square, here we have, right? So this 2 square is what? 4 minus 4ac. So 4 into 1 into 5 and divided by 2 times 1. Why 2 times 1? Because you can see 2 times a, so 2 times 1, and so solve it further. So therefore d is equal to minus 2 divided by 2 plus minus square root of 4 into 5 20, and this 4 minus 20 minus 16 and divided by 2. And now we can see inside the root you have negative number, and so it belongs to complex family, right? So this is for first term minus 1 plus minus square root of 16 into this I you have to write, or you can call this as iota, right? Because negative root we have, and then this divided by 2, but root of 16 it is 4, and therefore it is minus 1 plus minus 4 divided by 2i, and so it is minus 1 plus minus 2 times I. So here we can see the complex roots of the given auxiliary equation. One is minus 1 plus 2 times I, and as I told you earlier, whenever you get a complex root, then by default you will get its complex conjugate also as a root, right? So what is the complex conjugate of this? It is, you can see second root negative, minus 1 minus 2 times I. You can see change in the sign, this addition sign, it changed to negative, right? So only beta part you have to change, imaginary part you have to change. Okay, and now focus on first root only. So we have to write the solution accordingly. Case number 3. Okay, so therefore y is equal to, identify real part. So the real part is this, and that is alpha, and imaginary part is this beta, right? So this is beta and this is alpha. So therefore e to the power alpha. So what is the value of alpha here? Minus 1. So minus 1 times x, and in bracket arbitrary constant a cos beta. So what is the value of beta here? 2 cos 2x plus b times sine beta x, that is 2 times x. So this is the solution of given differential equation if we have complex roots. Okay, now let me give you another example, and I want to ask you the solution of this differential equation. Second, solve d square plus 1 times y is equal to 0. Now you tell me what is the auxiliary equation here? What is the auxiliary equation? It is d square plus 1, right? D square plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, what are the roots of this equation? D square plus 1. Just confirm me, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. And whatever I'm writing on the screen, it's visible?
Yes, yes, screen is visible.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, fine. So what are the roots of this equation? D square plus 1. Again, we can see if you take the square root, you will get negative, and therefore it belongs to complex, right? Complex family. So here d square is equal to minus 1. So this implies d is equal to plus minus I. Okay. Now, if you have problem with the finding roots, you have choices. You can use calculator, you can use quadratic formula, you can use synthetic division in case of higher order, okay, or you can use factorization method. Choice is yours, okay, and you can cross verify your roots with the help of calculator. Okay? So d is equal to plus minus I, and here we have to write the solution according to the case number 3. We can see d is equal to I and minus I are the roots. Which are complex. So therefore y is equal to, just focus on positive root. Okay, so I, and this I can be written as, you can write this I as 0 plus 1 times I. So I'll just specifying a real part and imaginary part for this case. So the real part is alpha is this 0, beta is this 1, coefficient of y, and then we require those values, right? So e to the power alpha, so alpha is 0, so e to the power 0x in bracket a cos beta, beta is 1, cos beta times x plus another constant b sine beta x, that is sine x. Okay, and so simply we get here y is equal to a cos x plus b sine x as a solution of this differential equation. Okay, and solution of this homogeneous differential equation referred as or called as complementary function. You have to keep in mind, whenever I use word complementary function, you have to understand this is the solution of homogeneous differential equation. Homogeneous differential equation means what? Right hand side is 0, right? Okay, now let me go to the case number 4. In case of complex roots, what about if some of the roots are repeated? Okay, so let m1 is equal to alpha minus I, alpha plus I beta, and then as I told you earlier, by default its complex conjugate has to be root, so alpha minus I beta, and let's say m3 is again alpha plus I beta, so it is repeated, right? Alpha plus I beta gets repeated, and by default its complex conjugate also get repeated, right? So therefore m4 you will get alpha minus I beta. So what we have here, we have m1 is equal to m2 and m3 is equal to m4. Now in such a situation, what will be the change in the complementary function? What will be the change in the solution that we have to see? Okay, so here we have complex roots case, and we have to write the solution like e to the power alpha x a cos beta x plus b sin beta x. That is fine, but what will be the change in that solution? What will be the change that we have to see? Okay, so in this case y is equal to, you have to write that real part term as it is. Okay, e to the power alpha x as it is, but change will be here in the arbitrary constants. So a, instead of writing a, write down a1 plus a2x, little adjustment of that x here in case of repeated complex root, a1 plus a2x bracket complete, and that cosine term you have to write as it is, cos beta x. Similarly, instead of writing beta as only constant, you have to write b1 plus, this is not a beta, this is b1, b1 plus b2 and adjustment of that x and bracket complete, and then you have sine beta x. Okay, that adjustment you have to do. What is the adjustment we did here? Here we can see instead of arbitrary constant a, we have written a1 plus a2x, and here instead of b, we have written b1 plus b2x. This is the case in where we have repeated complex roots. Now if we have 3 repeated complex roots, then can you generalize this thing? What will be the change in the solution? If you have 3 repeated complex roots, then let's say m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to alpha plus I beta, and then by default you will get m4 is equal to m5 is equal to m6 is equal to alpha minus I beta. Then here we have this 3 repeated roots, and by default its complex conjugate also gets repeated, right? So in this case we have to write the solution e to the power alpha x in bracket a1 a2, and further we have to go for a3, a1 a2x and then a3x square bracket complete, cosine term cos beta x, and plus for second arbitrary constant b1 plus b2x plus b2 b3x square bracket complete, sine term sine beta x. Okay, so this is the way of writing the solution. If you have 4 repeated, then you have to go up to x cube and like that. Okay, Now let me give you one example of this kind. Example is solve d square plus 1 d square plus 4 times y is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the given differential equation and we are looking for its solution. Now in this case, consider auxiliary equation. Process is straightforward. We have to consider auxiliary equation, then we have to find its roots. So consider auxiliary equation. So this is d square plus 1 into d square plus 4 is equal to 0, and we can equate first factor to the 0, therefore d square plus 1 is equal to 0, or d square plus 4 is equal to 0. So therefore d is equal to plus minus I from the first term, or d is equal to plus minus 2 times I, because square root of negative 4, right? Since square root of negative 4, it is plus minus 4I, right? Sorry, plus minus 2 times I. Now, iota 4 just negative and 2 is the root of at 4, right? So what are the roots? We get plus minus I. So I minus I, 2I minus 2 times I. And now we are looking for solution. So therefore, we have to follow the case number 3rd, that we have complex roots. So therefore, it is y is equal to e to the power corresponding to the first root I. Write down this. Identify real and imaginary part. So real part is 0, e to the power 0x in bracket a1. I will use a1 because we have more than one root, right? So a1 cos beta x is 1 in case of this I, and a2 or b2, you can say b1 sine x. This is corresponding to what? This I. Now just focus on this 2I. Do not focus on minus I and minus 2I. Keep them aside, okay? So only focus on positive I and 2I. And then corresponding to this 2I, real part is 0 again and imaginary part is 2, right? So plus e to the power 0x in bracket a2 cos 2 times x, because this time we have beta as 2, and b2 sine 2x. Okay, so this is the solution of given differential equation. And now if we have this case, d square plus 1, or you can say d square plus 2 into d square plus 4, d square plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, and in this case, suppose this, and in this case auxiliary equation will be d square plus 4 is equal to 0. This d square plus 4 is equal to 0. So therefore d is equal to plus minus 2I comma plus minus 2I will be the roots, right? Corresponding to this factor we have plus minus 2I, corresponding to this factor we have again plus minus 2I. Now this is the case, this is the last case that we have complex root and they are repeated. Okay, so total roots are d is equal to 2I comma 2I comma minus 2I comma minus 2I. And then in this case we have to do little adjustment in the solution. So y is equal to, identify real part, again it is 0, so e to the power 0x in bracket a1. Now roots are repeated, therefore a1 plus a2x, and now cosine term cos 2 times x plus b1 plus b2x, and now sine term sine 2 times x. So this is the solution in case of repeated root. I hope you understand all the 4 cases. Okay, now next question is, this is fine that we came to know how to find solution of homogeneous differential equation, right? Like this, phi of dy is equal to 0. Now what about if we have right hand side as a non-zero function? Okay, so that we have to discuss. Consider phi of d times y is equal to f of x, non-homogeneous differential equation, because right hand side we are here we are taking f of x, which is non-zero function, okay, function of variable x. Then then the general solution, the general solution is given by y is equal to ycf plus y suffix p. Now what is this ycf? Where ycf is the solution of associated homogeneous differential equation, means that is solution of phi of d times y is equal to 0. And now you are quite familiar with solution of homogeneous differential equation. How to find solution of homogeneous differential equation? According to the 4 cases we have to write the solution, right? Now you are quite familiar with this. Now we are interested in finding yp. And what is the meaning of yp? Where yp is, and yp is particular integral or particular solution, is particular integral or solution of given differential equation, and so here onward we are looking for particular solution. What are the methods of finding particular integral that we want to discuss? And once we get particular solution and complementary function, that is solution of associated homogeneous differential equation, their sum will represent general solution of the given differential equation. So we are interested in finding the general solution or complete solution. So complete solution or general solution is what? It is addition of complementary function and particular integral. Okay. Now next is how to find particular integral, particular solution. So consider given differential equation, consider phi of d times y is equal to f of x, and here let me explain this thing with the help of particular case, and then we will generalize it. Okay, so for example, the differential equation is this: d times y is equal to let's say x. Okay, and we are looking for its general solution, I mean complementary function and particular integral. So can you tell me what is the auxiliary equation in this case? It's very simple. Coefficient of y that you have to treat as a auxiliary equation. So auxiliary equation here we have, it is simply d. So auxiliary equation d is equal to 0. And so of course the order is 1, therefore we get only one root. So 0 is the only one root, and therefore ycf can be written as ycf is equal to c1 e to the power 0x. So this is simply constant, arbitrary constant c1. So therefore ycf is equal to c1. And now we are looking for particular integral. Okay, next to find particular integral, so to find particular integral, we are going to use inverse differential operator method. Means see, d stands for derivative, right? So we are using this capital D to denote the differential operator d by dx, right? Then I want to ask you, what will it represent? 1 upon d, what will it represent? Right? 1 upon d stands for what? Yes, who will tell? If d is d by dx, then what about 1 upon d? Don't tell sir, dx by d. Do you know the inverse of derivative? What we call that term? It is what? Inverse of the derivative is what? You are quite familiar with that term. It is what? Correct, eh?
Integration dx by
Integration. Very good. Integration. So this stands for integration. Very good. Okay. So here onward, whenever I write d, it stands for derivative operator, and 1 upon d stands for integration. Okay. So this is simply what? D inverse. Okay. That's why we call it as a inverse of the derivative. So that is integration. So here we have dy is equal to x as a given differential equation. And so we can see here y can be written as 1 upon d operating on this x. So that is, as I told you, it is integration. So integration of x dx, that is simply x square by 2. And so instead of calling y, let me call this as a particular integral. So yp. So therefore what we get here, yp is equal to x square by 2. And earlier we got ycf. So therefore ycf, general solution, y is equal to ycf plus yp, that is c1 plus x square by 2. This is the general solution of given differential equation. So what is the key point here? Here we are to find particular integral, we need to use inverse differential operator method. So let me generalize this. Okay, so consider phi of d times y is equal to f of x. Now you are quite familiar with the complementary function. Now yp is given by, then yp is given by, the formula is 1 upon phi of d, taking this operator, whatever we have, this auxiliary equation, to the denominator. Okay, 1 upon phi of d operating on right hand side function f of x, and we have to solve this further. Okay, we have to solve according to the auxiliary equation. Now, okay, we came to know that we have to take that operator as it is to the denominator, and we have to operate it to the on the right hand side function. Okay, but what are the methods? Can we have some methods of doing this? Okay, we have first case, general method, and of course we are going to deal with the shortcut methods later on. So first we will study general method of finding particular integral. Now let me take first case. Suppose we have d minus a times y is equal to right hand side function f of x. Okay, so suppose this is the case, and we are looking for its general solution. Okay, now you are quite familiar with YCF. Okay, now we want to talk about YP. To find YCF, you need to consider d minus a times y is equal to 0. Then find out roots. So of course root here, what, d minus a is equal to 0. So this implies d is equal to a, and therefore YCF is equal to what? E to the power c1 times e to the power x. You get the YCF. Okay, no problem with YCF. But what about YP? So we are interested in YP. YP, let me tell you formula. YP is given by, in this case, YP is given by e to the power ax. Inside the integral sign, you have e to the power minus ax times right hand side f of x dx plus, you don't need to write plus c arbitrary constant, because this is particular integral, it does not involve any arbitrary constant. So do not write plus c. Okay, so this is simply yp. Now you might be wondering, sir, how do we came to know about this formula? Okay, so actually it follows from the method of first order linear differential equation. Okay, so let me give the proof of this thing. It is not required, but you should understand the proof. Okay, so d minus a y is equal to f of x, so therefore it is dy by dx minus a times y is equal to f of x. And so comparing this with dy by dx plus p of x times y plus is equal to, right hand side is q of x. Now we can see value of p of x and q of x by comparing with this. You can see p of x is equal to minus a and q of x is the right hand side, that is f of x. Okay, and so this is linear differential equation, therefore integrating factor we have to find. So integrating factor is nothing but the e to the power integration of p of x dx, that is e to the power integration of minus a dx, and that is e to the power minus ax. So here we get integrating factor, and so the general solution can be written as, and the general solution is given by is y into integrating factor is equal to integration of q into integrating factor plus c, or you can say c1, and therefore here integrating factor is e to the power minus x. So y into e to the power minus ax is equal to q means right hand side, here we have f of x and integrating factor. So integrating factor I am writing first e to the power minus x into q, that is f of x, this is the value of q, at dx plus c1, and now multiply both sides by e to the power positive ax. So therefore left hand side will be y, right hand side it is e to the power x, e to the power inside the integral sign e to the power minus ax f of x dx plus c1. But we are this is the general solution, that's why we are taking c1. In case of particular integral, you just have to focus on, after multiplying by e to the power ax, this is also e to the power ax here, right? And you can see here this is complementary function that we obtained earlier, right? By considering associated homogeneous differential equation, we get this part, right? And here what we have, this remaining part is just this, that is particular integral. Okay, so in short, what is the formula? So the formula is very simple. Whenever you have such a differential equation d minus a, if there is a negative a, then you have to take outside as a positive a, and if there is a for example, if you have another case, instead of d minus a, if you have d plus a is any constant, okay, d plus a y is equal to f of x. Now you tell me what will be the formula by looking at this formula. What will be the formula in this case? Yes, who will tell? What will be the change in the formula? We don't have d minus a, here we have d plus a.
E to the power minus ax.
Very good, very good. E to the power minus ax, and inside we have e to the power ax f of x dx. Okay, so only that thing you have to change according to the root. If there is a negative root, then outside we have a negative root, means if there is a positive sign here, then of course you will get negative root. So d plus a, then negative outside. If d minus a, then positive outside, and inside change the sign, okay, of this exponential term, and this f of x means right hand side, whatever you have, this function you have to write as it is, and you have to solve this integral, and once you solve this integral, you will get the particular integral. So particular integral plus your complementary function togetherly will represent complete solution or general solution. Now, okay, this is fine. If we have one factor, then we can do this, but what about if we have higher order differential equation, right? So we want to study it. So for, let's say the second case is that if you want to solve d minus a, d minus b times y is equal to f of x. Now in this case, what will be the formula that we want to study, right? So what you do in this case, process is again same. So yp is given by considering that auxiliary equation to the denominator. So 1 upon d minus a, d minus b, f of x. But the question is, if we have two factors, then in that case what to do? Apply it successively. I will say apply it successively. So apply first formula successively. So what I will do, I will write here as it is, d minus a as it is, and then I will apply 1 upon d minus b first. So d minus b applying on f of x. Okay, now for this 1 upon d minus b, we earlier got the formula. What is that? Here in case of that, we have this formula, e to the power if I have d minus a, so it will be 1 upon d minus a, right? So e to the power x inside integral e to the power negative x f of x dx. So let me apply this formula, but instead of a we have b here. Okay, doesn't matter. So this is 1 upon d minus a as it is, and according to that previous formula I can write here e to the power bx inside integral e to the power minus bx f of x dx bracket complete. And then for after solving this integral, one more time you have to apply the same formula to get the required answer. Okay, so once you get this integral value, you will get some function, and over that function, so let me call this whole term as g of x. So this is 1 upon d minus a and g of x. It will not be same as that of f of x. You will get different value, maybe different value, right? So that value you have to write here. It will be function of variable x after solving this integral, multiplying by e to the power bx and all these things. Let's say it is g of x, and then over that g of x you have to apply the same formula, but this time we have root this a. Okay, so e to the power ax outside and inside e to the power negative ax, but this time not f of x. You have new function g of x that you have to write g of x dx. So this is the way of finding the particular integral in case of higher order. So let me give you particular example, and then we will find out complementary function as well as particular integral by using these two formulas. Okay, so example is here. Solve the following differential equation. Very first question we have d2y by dx square plus 3 times dy by dx plus 2 times y is equal to right hand side e to the power x. Okay, so you can see right hand side is a function of variable x. So this is non-homogeneous differential equation. So to find the general solution, we need to find complementary function as well as particular integral. Okay, now the process, look at the process. Solution. Consider associated homogeneous differential equation. So therefore it is d2y by dx square plus 3 times dy by dx plus 2 times y is equal to 0. Okay, and once we get associated homogeneous differential equation, means right hand side 0, process is straightforward. Consider auxiliary equation, find out roots, and according to the nature of the roots you have to write the solution. Therefore auxiliary equation will be is d square plus 3 times d plus 2 is equal to 0, and we are interested in finding the roots. Okay, so choice is here. You can use factorization method or you can use any other method that you know. Okay, so here I'll give preference to the factorization. So we want product 2 addition 3, so therefore I can write it this way: d square plus 2d plus d plus 2 is equal to 0, right? And now I can take d common, so d plus 2, d common from first two term, right? And now I can take 1 common from last two terms. 1 times d plus 2 is equal to 0. And now I can take d plus 2 common, so therefore d plus 2 and in bracket d plus 1 will remain there. So this implies d is equal to minus 2 minus 1 are roots. And you can see both are real and distinct. So therefore YCF, that is solution of associated homogeneous differential equation, complementary function, roots are real and distinct. So case number 1, C1 e to the power first root minus 2 times x plus C2 e to the power second root minus times x. Okay, So this is the complementary function. Next, we are looking for particular integral just for right hand side, term e to the power x. Next to find particular integral. So therefore, yp is given by as I told you earlier, you have to consider inverse differential operator means 1 upon phi of d times f of x, right? This is the formula, okay? But 1 upon phi of d means here what we have? Here we have this auxiliary equation d square plus 3d plus 2. 1 upon d square plus 3d plus 2 and right hand side f of x, here what we have? Here we can see right hand side is this e to the power x. And this operator you have to write to the denominator, okay? 1 upon this and e to the power x, okay? And now we can do its factorization, okay? We can do its factorization. We already have d plus 2 d plus 1, right? So we can write that directly. So this is 1 upon d plus 2 and d plus 1, and here we have the term e to the power x, okay, fine. Now, as I told you earlier, whenever you have higher order differential equation, you will get more than 2 factors or at least 2 factors. Then in that case, how to write the solution, how to find the particular integral. So second formula that we discussed earlier, successive operation we have to do here. And so I will keep 1 upon d plus 2 outside, and first I will operate 1 upon d plus 1 using the formula that we discussed earlier, okay, on this function. So let me recall that formula that I'm going to use. So this is 1 upon d plus 2 as it is, and here root is, here we can see plus sign is there, d plus 1. So outside you have to write negative. Recall yp is equal to e to the power ax inside e to the power minus ax f of x dx. This is valid for what? If you have d minus a times y is equal to f of x, or you can say or y is equal to 1 upon d minus a f of x. Then we can use this formula for yp, right? So here we can see if there is a negative, then outside you are taking positive e to the power positive ax, and if there is a positive, then outside you are taking negative. So here we can see positive 1 is there, so outside has to be negative e to the power negative x, and inside it's positive, okay, e to the power positive x, and f of x means right hand side. So this is in this case e to the power x dx, and we have to solve this integral. Once we get the integral value, then we can apply 1 upon d plus 2 using the same formula, okay? Now how to solve this integral? E to the power x, and here we have e to the power x. How to solve? Do you know any proper substitution so that we can solve this? Yes. So outside there is a e to the power negative x. We don't have to do anything with this e to the power minus x. Just focus on this term. So I can solve this in 2 ways, by using the formula or by using the substitution. So let me explain this with the help of substitution, okay? So we are looking for this integration. So put e to the power x is equal to t, okay? And then what will be the answer of its derivative? So e to the power x dx will be dt, right? And now I can write this integral as by using this substitution. So this remaining term I'll keep as it is. So 1 upon d plus 2 as it is, e to the power negative x, that also as it is. Only I'm focusing on integral. So that integral will be this e to the power x into this dx. This whole term get replaced by dt, and this e to the power x. So e to the power, this e to the power x term get replaced by t and dt. Okay, and now it is very simple. So therefore it is 1 upon d plus 2 and this exponential term e to the power negative x, and integration of e to the power t, it will be e to the power t and bracket complete. But what is the value of e to the power t? If we have back substitution, if t is e to the power x, then here we have t is equal to e to the power x. Therefore, e to the power t will be e to the power x. Okay, and now back substitute this value. Okay, so e to the power t can be substituted as this term here. Okay, so therefore this will be further 1 upon d plus 2 e to the power negative x, and after back substitution we have this term as e to the power x. Fine. Now we get this as a new function. Instead of f of x, here we get new function. And now this time we are going to apply this 1 upon d plus 2 factor one more time, right? Using the same formula. So again, this will be, but this time we can see plus 2 is there. So outside there will be negative 2 times x, right? So e to the power negative 2 times x, and inside e to the power positive 2x, and whatever the function you have in this bracket, that you have to write as it is, e to the power negative x into e to the power x dx. Okay. Again, I used this formula 1 upon d plus a f of x is equal to e to the power negative x inside e to the power x f of x dx for finding particular integral. And if you have negative here, then you have to write outside positive a, right? So this is we want to solve this integral we want to solve. So therefore it is e to the power negative 2x inside this negative this positive 2x, negative x will get cancelled, so it's simply e to the power x and e to the power x dx. Okay, again the same substitution will work. So put e to the power x is equal to t. So therefore e to the power x into dx is equal to dt, and so this equation will become e to the power minus 2x inside integral this e to the power x into dx will be dt, and this term will be e to the power t dt, and answer will be e to the power minus 2x into e to the power t. But e to the power t is nothing but the, since e to the power t is nothing but the e to the power x, so that will be e to the power minus 2x into e to the power x, since t is equal to e to the power x, so therefore e to the power t is equal to e to the power x, and that's the required particular integral. Okay, what is that? Yp is equal to e to the power negative 2x into e to the power 2x, and finally we have to write the solution. Therefore the general solution is given by the general solution is given by is y is equal to YCF plus YP, that is YCF we already got, right, earlier, very first step. What is that? This you can see here, C1 e to the power negative 2x plus C1 e to the power negative x. So that we have to write as it is, C1 e to the power negative 2x plus C1 e to the power negative x, and YP that we already got here in the last step. Okay, so this we have to write as it is, e to the power negative 2x e to the power x. That is the required general solution of the given differential equation. Now here we can see there are two arbitrary constants, and this part is particular integral. Here there is no constant. Okay, and be careful while finding the particular integral. Here whenever you solve integral, do not write plus c. Okay, because this is particular integral, you don't need to write arbitrary constant plus c. Okay, so this is the way of finding the particular integral by general method, very first method that we have here. Okay, now let me give you one example just for homework. Try this. D square plus 3 times d plus 2 times y is equal to sine e to the power x. Sine of this function, you have this. Okay, sine of e to the power x. Now process is very simple. So now let me write algorithm. What is the algorithm of finding general solution? Given differential equation will be there. Given differential equation. Then associated homogeneous differential equation you have to consider. After that, auxiliary equation. Then find out YCF, that is complementary function according to the 4 cases, right? Roots are real, distinct, repeated, all these cases you have to see, and accordingly you have to write the solution. And thereafter, particular integral, YP, and to find YP, we have very first formula, that is 1 upon d. In case of this, 1 upon d minus a f of x. Here we have e to the power x, inside e to the power negative x, f of x dx. And if you have more than one factor like this, d minus a, d minus b, or something like that, then you have to go successively. Okay, keep going on, keep going on. If you have 3 factors, keep going on. Okay, so this is the way of finding the general solution. So at last you have to write the complete solution. After getting YP, then write down Y as YCF plus YP. Okay, so this is the algorithm, very simple algorithm we have, but you should be strong in finding integral values, otherwise you will stuck somewhere. So you must know the formulas. Okay, now talking about this example, associated, therefore associated homogeneous differential equation is d square plus 3d plus 2 times y is equal to 0. Therefore auxiliary equation will be, auxiliary equation is d square plus 3 times d plus 2 is equal to 0. Now can you do the factorization of this? Yes, again the same, d square plus 2d plus d, and here 2 is equal to 0. So therefore d can be taken common, so d plus 2, 1 can be taken common, d plus 2 is equal to 0. So therefore d plus 2, and here we have d plus 1 is equal to 0. So d is equal to minus 2 minus 1, and both roots are real and distinct. Therefore YCF will be C1 e to the power negative 2x plus C2 e to the power negative x. Now next to find YP. So to find YP, 1 upon phi of d, that term you have to consider, d square plus 3 times d plus 2, and right hand side sine e to the power x we have, and you have to do the factorization of this. This is d plus 2 and d plus 1 sine e to the power x, and here onward we have to use this formula. Operate successively. First of all, operate 1 upon d minus 1, 1 upon d plus 1, and thereafter 1 upon d plus 2. So this formula you have to use here. Try this as a homework. Okay, stop here.